Hello, everybody. I see there's 3 of you now coming in slowly but surely. It's really hot out, so maybe everybody went to the beach. It's a good place to be. But hi, Nina. Hi, Marianne. Well, we will begin with the verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Gata of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Three bows. Fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present. It fills our sacred space, guards our minds from wrong thinking. Fragrance of this incense unites us with virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer it on behalf of all beings. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for refuge. Being one with the Buddha, I resolve to each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for refuge. Being one with the Dharma, The gates of Dharma are manifold. I vow to enter them all. The goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for refuge, being one with the Sangha in the spirit of universal fellowship. And as a member of the Sangha, I pledge to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove. Wishing in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with the boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. So we do a guided meditation tonight. And I think I will just do a guided breath meditation. I'm going to set the timer though, so I'll know how long we're going. Sorry, my timer's not doing what it's supposed to. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Weird. Okay. Sorry. Technical issue. Take a few deep breaths. Focus on letting your center be soft so your belly can rise and fall smoothly, completely. And then just let your breath settle into a comfortable rhythm. No need to do anything special with the breath. Just stay with the breath. Know when you're breathing in, know when you're breathing out. In the Anapanasati Sutra, the sutta in the Pali Canon where the Buddha explains the practice of mindfulness of the breathing. He talks about three qualities to bring to our attention. And there's different translations of this, but the way I like to translate it is ardent, alert, and aware. Ardent, alert, and aware. So, what does it mean to be ardent? It means that we set our attention firmly on the breath, that we make a commitment to spending this time developing our minds. By resting our attention on the in-breath and the out-breath. And as we're using the breath as a way to be aware of the body and the mind, we're also aware of how it feels in the body, the relationship between the breath, the body, and the mind. And so this requires some energy and some diligence. So set an intention now. Set an intention now to keep your mind on the breath. And if you'd like, you can set your intention to be happy, to let go of anything that comes into your awareness that derails your concentration, that leads you in a direction of stress. Letting go of anything that is angry, anything that is anxious, anything that is greedy or clingy. Let go of anything that leads to stress, or let be. Sometimes things come into our awareness that won't pass on their own, so we can just let them be. And alert, knowing when you're breathing in, knowing when you're breathing out. Aware of the in breath, aware of the out breath. Aware of the length of the breath. Am I breathing in a long breath or a short breath? Am I breathing out a long breath or a short breath? And aware, alert to how the mind changes. Where is the mind going? Is the mind steady and settled, or is it jumping around? Am I staying on the breath? So we notice when things come into our attention. You don't need to push anything away. We just be alert to how that affects our mind. Are we staying on our object of meditation? And the final quality of mind to bring to our meditation is awareness, ardent, alert, and aware. Being aware means staying in the moment and staying fully with what's going on in the moment. Not going back into the past, it's something that happened earlier. Not going forward into the future, something we're worrying about or looking forward to. But aware of this moment right here, this breath right here. But again, fully aware. There's nothing to push away. It's all part of the experience of the present moment. If a pleasant feeling arises, we have a pleasant feeling. If an unpleasant feeling arises, we have an unpleasant feeling. If a neutral feeling arises, we have a neutral feeling. Aware of anything the mind creates. And again, ardent, bringing ourselves back to the object of meditation. Alert, aware of any pitfalls and distractions, any obstacles that arise, sensual desire, animosity, restlessness, sleepiness, doubt. So for the next few minutes until the bell rings, just stay with your breath and remember those qualities: ardent, alert, aware. Notice what your mind engages with. Keep your intention on the breath. Stay alert. And be aware of all the things the present moment has to offer. All that we can experience right here, right now. The bell will ring twice to end the meditation. When it does, bring your hands together in Gasho. Take a moment just to thank yourself for taking this time to develop your mind. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now. In reciting the sutras, hearing the Dharma, and training the mind, great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. Let their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for the health and well-being of all those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, and those ministering to the sick and the grieving. We pray for those suffering from violence, for the oppressed, the imprisoned, and all refugees. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabe sata sadahantu avera sukajivino katang punya phalang maihang sabe bagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings springing from the good we have done. So hello, everyone, again. It's like we got a few more came in since we started meditating. Excuse me, a little polleny tonight, apparently. Pardon me. So I'm going to read you this poem after I finish getting the frog out of my throat. This is called The Dharma Is My Rock, and it's by Koyo Kubose. Reverend Kubose wrote this, I think a few years before I started the Bright Dawn teacher training program, for lack of a better term. And the first time I encountered it, I think it was the first time, was when I got laid off from my journalism job. And this was a few months before I was to be inducted as a Bright Dawn sensei. And and I don't remember why, but I told him, I had an occasion to tell him, maybe it was during one of our calls. So, we would do a reading together, and then we'd call in and make reports. That's how the program was run then. These days it's on Zoom. But back then it was a conference call. And I think I mentioned it as part of what I talked about that week. And so he sent me a copy of this poem. Emailed it to me. And I think he sent it to me in the mail too. And I'm pretty sure he repeated that, sent it again when he gave me my Dharma name. So my Dharma name is Sekyo, the Dharma name from him. I have multiple Dharma names. Doshin is the one that I'm using most these days. That's my ordained Zen monk name. Soto Zen. But my Dharma name with Bright Dawn is Sekyo, which means stone sun. And so, he referred to this poem when he gave me that name. Or he referred to my name when he gave me this poem, one or the other. I can't remember which, but they were associated in his mind. And so they became associated with my mind. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you, and then I'll unpack it a little bit. We'll talk about this. Many things are happening in my life right now. Underlying it all, the Dharma is my rock. Beyond good and bad, beyond sorrow and joy, the Dharma is whispering, everything is okay, even when things are not going okay. Eyes full of tears, heart heavy with pain. Stone therapy helps me see the suchness of all things. Dharma rocks, no matter where placed, dropped, or thrown, are hugged by the earth with respect and gratitude. Yes, I will struggle. Yes, things may not turn out exactly the way I would like. Yet I will keep going forward with a smile because I know the Dharma is my rock. I actually started thinking about this poem in the last couple of weeks because something in Taitetsu Uno's book, River of Fire, River of Water, reminded me of it. It was the way he was talking about the Nimbutsu as being something that you can sort of, a solid thing that you can turn to. And it reminded me of this poem. And, sometimes I think we should just include this in our liturgy and just recite it together. It's so, this idea of the Dharma as a rock. So what does that mean? When we walk into a Buddhist temple, we see the Buddha there and we bow. Why do we bow? Well, because the practice is always available to us, and yes, it's acknowledgement of something higher, more, more important than our ego and our ego's concerns. But also, to me, it's like the Buddha is always there for us in the form of the practice. And I give a Dharma talk one of these days again about the bodies of the Buddha, and the form that the Buddha takes now are the teachings and the practice that's available to us. And so anything that happens, we can turn to as our practice. The practice of Nimbutsu, of saying Namo Amida Butsu, is very much, I think, a way to do that for people who use that. And you don't all have to. I mean, it's okay. I know some of you are really into Pali Canon stuff, and some of you are more into Zen stuff, and some of you are more into reading the Diamond Sutra and getting the emptiness that way and all of that. And some people, can turn to faith, really, and it's kind of an interesting thing. I've been thinking about this a lot lately. We talked on Thursday nights about this book, the Tana Show, which is collected sayings of Shenron. And we're reading that now in the prison, reading it together and talking about this. And, and it's interesting because in the prison, obviously, people are there because they've done really bad things, and they're very much aware of the bad things that they've done. And sometimes they're not sure if they're going to be able, they won't talk about this real openly, in public sometimes, but they'll talk to me or sometimes to each other about, this idea, that because we've done something bad, that we're bad, fundamentally bad, and maybe we can't get better. And that's a real concern for people who want to try to practice a spiritual life. You want to live a better life, a more authentic life. So what do I do with all this badness that I've done, And then the next thing is, I'm in a bad place. Where's my refuge? And so the practice can be the refuge, because You understand how the mind, or you begin to understand how the mind creates suffering. And you know that you can turn to your practice and let go of a lot of that nonsense that you do use to create suffering for yourself and others. And so when we think about that, beyond good and bad, beyond sorrow and joy, the Dharma is whispering everything is okay, even when things are not going okay. I know terrible things happen. And, and I'm not going to say that like people in Ukraine who are getting bombed are, that everything is okay for them. But, for the most part, what we experience is going to pass. And we're going to be all right. People who got put in concentration camps in the United States because they were Japanese. Koyo was one of those people, and that was bad. But beyond good and bad, there's the Dharma. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about Buddhism as if equanimity means there's no good and no bad. No, this is beyond good and bad. It doesn't say there's no good and no bad, but we go beyond this, beyond sorrow and joy. Again, sometimes people think, oh, well, if you understand impermanence, then why would you be upset about anything? And you look at the poem, Issa's poem. This dewdrop world is a dewdrop world. In other words, this world is that ephemeral, is as ephemeral as a drop of dew. And yet, and he was writing about loss of a child, multiple children actually. And he was aware because he was a Jodo Shinshu priest, I think, and he was aware of the impermanence of existence. And yet, he could experience sorrow. So this doesn't mean there's no sorrow. It means beyond sorrow. It doesn't mean there's no joy. Experience joy. Joy is a great thing. Experience it. But it's beyond joy. So eyes full of tears, heart heavy with pain, stone therapy helps me see the suchness of all things. So suchness is an interesting word. Suchness refers to things as they are, not as we want them to be, or we think they should be, or any of that kind of stuff. This is how things are. And, if you to put this in terms of like cognitive behavior therapy or rational emotive behavior therapy, there's this understanding that a lot of our suffering, a lot of our stress, difficulties, emotional upsets are created by expecting things to be different than they are. Having this expectation that things shouldn't be this way. And it was funny. I was talking with a group of counseling graduate students Saturday. There was a conference at Stetson for this group of counselors who are interested in spiritual and ethical and religious values in the context of counseling. An interesting field. And so I went in to teach Nikon. I did an 1.5-hour session on Nikon, and it went over very well. It was real interesting. And for those of you who don't know, Nikon is a form of self-reflection where you ask yourself 3 questions. So you answer these questions. What have I received? What have I given? What trouble have I caused? And you look at this in a way of finding out, kind of seeing yourself more clearly in the context of your life and your relationships, the world you're in. And so we were sitting around, and one of them said, I should do this, or I should have done whatever. They use that word should, and then they, oh no, should. Don't should on yourself. which comes from probably, she had probably read some of Albert Ellis's stuff, because that's something he says, no should on yourself. And basically, when we think we should do something that we didn't do, or we shouldn't do something that we did do, or someone else shouldn't or should or whatever, then we create some stress around that. And so that's letting go of the should is a big part of letting go of the stress. And I was talking to her about that, and I mentioned somebody said something else about the word should that reminded me of this. There was an existential psychologist named Karen Horney, Horney, pronounced Horney, and she used the phrase "the tyranny of the shoulds." It's really interesting, kind of the way we control ourselves with this idea of shoulds and shouldn'ting and that sort of stuff. So when you let go of the shoulds, when you transcend the shoulds, what do you have? You have what is. And so that's kind of what suchness, to me, I think that's a good down-to-earth way of looking at suchness. It's not what should be, it's what is. And if we can be, accept what is, not necessarily like it, not even necessarily want to not change things that are unjust or difficult or whatever, but accept them the way they are. We stop the shoulding, we get, suchness. The Dharma rocks, no matter where placed, dropped, or thrown, are hugged by the earth with respect and gratitude. So the interesting thing about this, Koyo would do this thing with what he would call gratitude stones, gratitude rocks. And he would carry rocks around in his pocket, I think, if I remember correctly. And if he went someplace or experienced something that was really, profound for him, he would leave a rock, a gratitude rock. Can't build a monument, but you can leave a little rock. And so after my induction, I think he does this for everybody. He gave me a little rock. He says, "This is your Dharma rock." And it was from there in coarse gold, and it had my induction date, the year written on it and stuff. I still have it. It's up there on my altar somewhere. So no matter where placed, dropped, or thrown, they're hugged by the earth with respect and gratitude. And that's something that you could make a practice of if you wanted to. When you're someplace, you experience the Dharma for yourself. You experience a moment of awe or a moment of gratitude, just a moment of awakening of some kind. Leave a rock, as sort of a token of your appreciation. Nobody will notice it. It'll probably get kicked, or it'll get buried in the, it'll rain and it'll work its way down in the sand or whatever. But the earth will hug it with respect and gratitude. I think that's just a beautiful idea. And yes, I'll struggle. Things may not turn out exactly the way I would like. I can keep going forward with a smile because the Dharma is my rock. So sure, some people experience really difficult things. And it's hard to smile, at some of those times. But, in the context of your life, it can all be incorporated into your practice. So anyway, that's I wanted to share that with you because it had been on my mind. And it was kind of a good day for me to talk about it because I had a bad day. Not a terrible day. Just stuff that, as it says, things may not turn out exactly the way I would like. Well, there's things that are turning out not the ways I would like. And so, you have to make decisions. You have to move forward. And recognizing it, if you get caught up in oh man, that's really what I wanted. This really sucks that I didn't get what I wanted. Well, you're going to create suffering for yourself that way. But if you can go, okay, that's not what I wanted. What next? What now? Well, the Dharma, I'm still here, right? The Dharma is still here. The practice is still here. And part of the practice is to accept what is, be with the suchness of things. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. Any last questions or comments? All right, I don't see anything. So we'll say the great vows. I should bring this. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. Enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Friends, I respectfully remind you life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes by and opportunity is lost. Each of us must strive to awaken. Awaken. Take heed. Do not squander this life. Have a good week. I'll see you next week, if not before.